It's a rainy Thursday. Good morning to everybody. I'm Atty. Gutierrez, the spokesperson of former VP Leni Robredo.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Keep safe everyone. I'm former Secretary Relly Fajardo from President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's administration. And we are the spokes.
From the palace halls and the OVP then to our group chats now.
We'll give you perspectives from an insider's position standing behind the podium.
Our headline, noted by the spokes, the heated cross-examination between prosecution and defense lawyers when COA State Auditor Sailin May Del Ocampo took the witness stand.
Attorney Barry, feeling ko kung ako'y nandun, may intimidate din ako kay Lorna Kapunan. Pero in fairness with the defense counsel, hindi siya nagpatinag.
Yeah, tsaka ako, alam mo, tingin ko we're making too much of it. Sa totoo lang, sa courtroom, ordinaryo naman yung mga ganyan.
I'm assuming, yes.
Yung mga mind games at mga sindakan among counsel, kasama yan sa...
Ito, ang difference lang is that everybody's watching them.
Well, yeah, ngayon.
Diba? Yun ang mahirap kasi ang buong bayan nanonood ng impeachment. Well, at least most, diba? Kaya ang taas ng viewership kahapon because of probably that heated argument between the counsels, di ba?
Yeah. Tingin ko
At saka
lang...
alam mo naman yung mga remarks din kasi ni Atty. Kapunan.
Pero kasama talaga sa style niya yun.
Di ba ganun talaga siya? May Superman pa, may ano.
Feeling ko yun ang mga veteran moves eh.
True. Oo nga. Di ba? Pero ako, isa sa mga nag-struck sa akin, kasi medyo nakinig ako along the way, no, dahil super traffic, yung sinasabi ng COA auditor, no? Kasi parang ngayon na-focus kasi tayo doon sa Christmas party. Pero kasi 'di ba sinasabi ng defense na I'm not trying to justify it, but I was just trying to listen to them, and sinasabi niya na yung mga activities going to the Christmas party, which is information gathering, intelligence gathering, no? Yun yung parang pinaggamitan ng confidential fund. Kasi tayo nakafocus tayo sa Christmas party, which I think is also the strategy of the prosecution. Dahil nga naman, 'di ba, intelligence fund pagkatapos Christmas party, hindi naman allowed talaga sa confidential fund 'yon. Yun. Pero in the defense of the defense counsel, parang that's what they're trying to point out is that, the activities leading to that, not necessarily the Christmas party, doon ginastos yung pera, diba?
Ako expected naman obviously that the defense will try to frame yung mga expenses as actually being justified. Yeah. Kasi even they accept na kailangan namang makahanap ka ng some kind of authorization under yung Joint Memorandum Circular. So, yun yung framing. Diba? So, ako, yun yung, doon papasok yung evidentiary conversation diba? Between the two parties. Ano ba yung narrative na masusuportahan talaga nung ebidensya?
That's correct. And even if it's a confidential fund, tama ka, kasi kailangan pa rin ng mga supporting documents. In fact, one of the things that they also discuss is about giving the reward to the informer. Yung definition ng success, no, yung successful na operation kasi parang sinasabi ng COA auditor, kung walang parang hindi para sa kanya hindi success na matatawag kung kung preventive lang yung crime na nangyari. Di ba? Talaga namang walang actual crime na nangyari. For her, it's not success. It's not a successful activity para bigyan mo ng reward yung informer. Pero ako naman, medyo magbabago yung magiging presidensyahan, magiging issue rin yan for other confidential and national or security concerns later on. Kasi, paano kung merong dapat bomba na sasabog tapos na-prevent mo from happening because of that information that you were able to gather? Diba? I think that's also, that you can consider also a successful operation in a way, di ba? Kasi you have prevented a crime from happening as well.
Well, ako tingin ko, tama naman yun. Pero again, di ba, evidentiary yung usapan.
But again, yes, kailangan may supporting documents pa rin.
And actually, ang medyo nagulat lang ako dun sa cross-examination, to a certain extent nga, parang siya na yung nagtetestify. I mean, gets ko naman na in a cross-examination, allowed ang leading questions. Diba? You're actually authorized to pose hypotheticals. Pero to a certain extent talaga, in yung efforts niya to, diba, undermine yung testimony ng witness, which is the purpose of cross-examination, medyo tumawid siya ng ibang linya. Kaya tingin ko, yun din yung reason bakit kinall out siya ni Atty. Kapunan dun sa usapang ito. Ang dami ko nakitang mga comments online na nabubwisit sila kay Atty. Christine Perez.
Grabe yung comment. Meron daw nag-comment na nakainom pa raw si attorney na expired na Lipovit.
Sobrang yun ang sinasabi mo kanina, Sir Relly, ang problema dito, sa ordinaryong courtroom kasi,
walang
normal
ganyan.
yun. Pero ngayon, ang laki ng audience, buong bansa nanonood sa'yo.
Alam mo, nakakaawa rin, di ba? Kasi ang daming bashers. Tapos isa pa doon, di ba, si Defense Lead Counsel Attorney Sheila Season called out also si Attorney Amando Ligutan, yung isa sa mga prosecutor, kasi nag-post din siya sa social media. And I think it was during the during the ongoing cross-examination.
Although to be fair kay Atty. Ligutan, ang pinost lang niya was a rule. Sinabi niya na
yung misleading
sinasabi
question.
niya na lahat ng mga abogado, alam naman ang misleading questions ay hindi allowed in cross. Wala naman siya sinabing pangalan, wala naman siya sinabing. Pero
obviously, obviously, alam naman natin, it's already about that. Kasi ongoing yung
Pero tingin ko may pagkabato-bato sa langit yun eh. Although, tingin ko tama yung in-announce ni Presiding Officer Senator Chis Escudero na by Monday, mag-i-issue daw siya ng clearer guidelines on how counsel in particular should conduct themselves.
Kailangan pa ba yun? Hindi ba meron naman na kayo talagang mga protocol
ako
dyan?
tingin ko yung kailangang linyahan, yung tinatawag nating sub judice rule. Up to what extent can they actually discuss matters related to the case outside of yung courtroom? Kasi nga, ang unique feature nito ay this is really the first impeachment trial sa age ng social media.
Oo nga.
Na talagang active ang mga tao
And
sa
that can
pagpo-post.
really influence kasi syempre, 'di ba? Yung kung ano man yung opinion mo outside the courtroom,
Exactly.
'di ba? Can influence also your readers, no? Or your followers, 'di ba? Well, another noted by the spokes, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon declared that the country is facing a garbage crisis after the Baclaran Estero cleanup. Nakita mo ba yun? Grabe, no?
500 tons nga daw.
Yes.
Grabe yung picture, di ba?
Grabe talaga. And ang question dito is that, eto na naman, blaming game, no? Kasi walang disiplina yung mga tao or kasi yung gobyerno hindi ginagawa yung dapat nilang gawin, no? Or sige, may corruption din. Kasi remember, prior to this incident, si Ombudsman Ombudsman Remulla, lagi ko napapapalit. Di ba nagsabi na siya, may sweeping statement pa nga siya na may corruption sa LGUs dahil sa garbage collection nila, di ba? So, totoo naman kasi ang laki din talaga ng mga budget ng mga LGU sa garbage collection, di ba? And yet, this is still happening. And you know what? Apart from the LGU, malaki din pala yung budget ng MMDA.
For garbage,
Yes.
Solid waste management.
Solid waste management. That is on top of the budget of the different LGUs in Metro Manila, 17 LGUs.
So, ang tanong, sa kabila ng lahat ng yan, bakit merong 500 tons sa Baclaran pa lang?
Hindi ba? So, yes, tama yun na kailangan naman talaga natin ng disiplina. Di ba yan nga yung kaya sumikat si Bayani Fernando, the late Bayani Fernando. Kasi, di ba sabi niya, yung simpleng paglalagay lang ng balat ng candy sa bulsa mo, it already symbolizes na kailangan natin talaga na i-keep yung maging disiplinado tayo pagdating sa basura kasi babalik rin yun sa atin, 'di ba? But at the same time, tama rin naman si BBM. Okay, ini-insist nyo, malaki pa yung penalty. Pero unang-una, kung hindi naman ma-execute properly yung penalty na yan, yung execution, ma-execute properly yung
Usually,
rule.
doon nadadapa pag-execution eh.
Exactly. Ganyan doon tayo magaling, di ba? Magaling tayo sa plano, pero yung implementation problem natin.
Tama.
So, kahit na gaano kalaki pa yung penalty yan, kung hindi naman yan mababantay, hindi mo rin mako-call out yung mga, yung mga mga pasaway, baliwala yung malaking penalty na yan, di ba? And at the same time, make it easy for people also, especially during this time, na maging madali rin sa kanilang sumunod. Paano kung wala naman talagang tatapunan din ng basura, lalo na yung mga nakatira doon sa estero? Wala talagang mga garbage disposal yata yung mga
Kaya
yan.
tingin ko, yun yung point naman na
automatic,
yung
diba?
in-announce ni President Bongbong Marcos na magkaroon tayo ng waste-to-energy program.
Tama. It's about time.
Actually, sa totoo lang,
Diba?
ang tagal na niyan eh.
Oo, 'di ba? Kasi matagal na natin 'tong problema. Every time na lang para tong flood control, no? Recurring problem. And yet parang wala pa rin tayong long-term solution.
Oo
'Di ba? And every time na uulan, ito ang kailangan nating harapin.
And the thing is, ang daming mga models na in other countries na gumagawa ng ganyang klase mga programa to actually manage yung kanilang garbage problem. Gaya ng sinasabi mo, merong malinaw na pagdadalhan ng mga basurang kailangang itapon. And then malinaw yung kung saan pupunta yan. Usually, kung incineration yan and then mako-convert to energy, meron kang built-in na sistemang gano'n. Pero that has to be established ng maayos.
So again, I guess this is again another opportunity for us, no, to really take things seriously. Ano na ba talaga? Obviously, our waste management is not working. And
Clearly, di ba?
And there's funds. May budget for this. Sana pupunta yung pondo dito, di ba? Sana man lang at least, this time around na ganyan na yung nangyayari, magising rin talaga yung ating mga officials, government officials.
Tama. So, kumbaga dapat mag-meet talaga halfway, di ba? Parang may disiplina sa part ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan tulad natin. Meron din namang maayos sa programa galing sa gobyerno para malinaw yung kanila kailangan gawin dapat ng taong bayan.
Lagi natin itong nakikita. Every time na tag-ulan, ganyan ang nangyayari.
Okay. These are the headlines noted by the spokes today. The 2027 National Expenditure Program is out. We'll have a former DBM Secretary dissect the proposed 7.2 trillion budget when the spokes return after the short break. The Spokes is back with the 2027 National Expenditure Program of the Marcos administration out for public perusal. We've invited one of the brightest minds in the discourse of the national budget.
He's a former congressman, a former House Appropriations Chairman, and the former Chief of DBM Secretary, Florencio Abad. Secretary, thank you so much, sir.
Hey, Mari, kumusta?
Do you know that Sec Butch is the seatmate of my dad in Congress?
Yeah, si Kong Rico is one of the pioneers of the kapihan phenomenon in the Philippines.
Yeah, because of the Taza de Oro.
Taza de Oro, sila na may-ari nun. So we go way back.
Yeah, so happy to see you, sir. At saka
Thank you.
nag-courtesy call nga ako kay sir nung nasa USAID kami. And we work
Tama.
together with our open government partnership.
Of course.
Isa yan sa mga, talaga nyo di ba? Big initiatives when you were DBM.
Doon nag-umpisa noon.
Okay, so
Okay.
without getting into a line-by-line discussion ng 7.2 trillion, anong initial impression nyo this budget na ito, Sec Butch?
Alam mo, the impression of many is education has taken the biggest slice of the budget. But as you well know, Barry, utang muna bago ang lahat.
Siyempre. Debt servicing.
Debt interest payment is actually number one at 978.7 billion.
So almost a trillion.
Almost a trillion and higher than
Education.
education. Which goes to show how much of the budget is really, taken up by debt servicing. And if you include payment for principal amortization, the total of both interest payments and principal amortization is about 37.5% of the 7.2 trillion budget. People don't know that, but ganun kalaki yan.
Laki ah.
Yeah. And in your opinion, sir, do you agree to that?
Well, it's not a matter of agreeing to that, no?
We're
Because
forced to.
we are forced to. And that's the problem of inheriting and incurring a lot of
Debts.
Yeah, that's a problem.
As of now ba, Sec Butch, ano yung bulk ng debts natin? Is it domestic? Is it foreign debt?
It's about 80% domestic, and then the rest is foreign.
So, the government is actually paying local banks, essentially.
Yeah.
And di ba usually, sir, yung budget kasi, andun mo makikita kung ano talaga yung priority at kung ano yung direction ng administration.
As I
diba?
always remind, Barry, it is the fiscal translation or financial translation of the President's priorities for the coming year.
That's correct.
That's exactly.
And,
Kaya hindi mo pwedeng kung ano-ano gawin dyan kasi dun sa budget message ng Presidente,
dapat pareho sila, consistent.
ilalatag
no?
nandiyan lahat doon.
Ito ang
Ngayon,
ating
pag
purpose. Yeah.
natapos yung budget at iba dun sa budget message, mapapahiya yung Pangulo.
And I think what's really unique about, well, hindi siya unique, pero kailangan talaga medyo bantayan itong budget na to, Sec Butch, di ba? Kasi ito na yung last budget, as you mentioned, I heard you. This is the last budget already prior to the election.
It is.
No?
And therefore,
Kaya importante talaga itong
the
budget
pressure
na to.
will not only come from, this presentation by the executive, but once the budget is presented to Congress, that's where the real pressure will come in. And dyan natin makikita how committed the executive is in the budget that they are proposing.
Kayo, Sec Butch, you've had experience in shepherding an NEP through Congress, di ba? Through the
Right.
budgetary process. So can you take us through that? Ano dapat if the executive wants to pass yung version nila ng budget through the House and the Senate, ano dapat yung ginagawa ng DBM Secretary and yung iba pang mga executive officials involved in this? Paano yung tutok?
Dapat from the very start, hindi yung secretary ng DBM, but the president has to talk to the congressional leadership of both chambers
Okay.
to tell them that, this you cannot touch, but this you can touch.
Okay.
What your concerns, we heard them, we have provided for them in the budget. So wag na natin galawin yung budget, especially this coming budget because of the background. The various issues that were raised these past 3 years and what we're facing, an election in 2028. So, dalawa yung pressure dyan. This is,
When you
in
see
a
the
sense-
background, sir, you're talking about the flood control controversy, right?
exactly. This is extraordinary in a sense. Kasi, hindi pa resolve itong...
Flood control.
In fact, flood control is only the tip of the iceberg. Really. Ang laki niyan. We're talking about trillions of pesos. And that still is a big issue today. And then you face an accounting when the 2028 election.
And the impeachment
Something.
as well. It's like itong ang confidential fund
Yeah.
is it's also a corruption
In fact,
issue.
there were many petitions raised in the Supreme Court, and we still have to hear from the Supreme Court about what they have to say about the issues raised before them, like the constitutionality of the unprogrammed appropriations.
Sir, I think in a way connected to the question of Attorney Barry kanina, nilagay nila si Joey Salcede, di ba? As PLLO ngayon. Kong Joey, as you know, is the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee and has been in Congress for the
He was
longest
once
time.
chairman of the Appropriations Committee
And also an Appropriations Committee
and
chair.
DBM Secretary.
So, you can, di ba? I think he's a good choice na, especially during this critical time that, as you mentioned, di ba, towards the election already, you put an expert such as an experienced legislator at that, and an economist. Magaling si Kong Joey eh. So,
The budget process is essentially a political process. It involves the use of power. So, the people who are managing your budget in Congress, they have to know how to deal with politicians. Kasi, especially this particular budget, masikip ito.
Oo nga.
Masikip ito because a lot of, as I said, 37.5% of the is eaten up already by
Debt service.
by debt service, So, ang ang pinag-uusapan natin parating fiscal space or the discretionary portion is very small already. The rest, more than 60%, has already been consumed by mandatory and automatically appropriated items. Yung utang, yung IRA, sweldo, overhead. So, you really have very little room for flexibility here. And yet, the demands on the budget, especially in a national election year, will be tremendous. So the discipline, fiscal discipline, will be a tall order here.
And yet, binalik pa rin nila yung may allocation pa rin sa proposed budget, yung flood control management, 107.4 billion pesos. It was earmarked for maintenance, repair, rehabilitation, and continuation of ongoing works. Iba pa yung sa foreign assisted projects na 19.6 billion.
Yeah, well...
But I'm not saying na dapat wala kasi look at what's happening now,
Yeah.
diba? Hindi naman din porque meron tayong naging controversial na issue about flood control, hindi na natin itutuloy. Kasi may problema rin talaga.
Hindi, tsaka we have to manage where the waters are really coming from. Yung binabanggit natin na kailangan gawa ng master plan. Na there are about 18 of those what Secretary Babes used to call the... Kalimutan ko yung pangalan.
Pero hindi catch basin.
No, river basin.
River basin.
There are 18 river basins in the country whose master plans have to be updated. I think majority of that money
Will go there.
Will go there. Kasi, alam mo yung mga galing sa bundok na tubig, you can either use them for water supply, for irrigation,
I-direct it, diba?
for industrial
i-direct
use,
the water.
or direct it straight to the sea. So, yan ang trabaho ng river basin projects. At yan talaga kailangan dyan ng pera. Kasi kung yan hindi mo maayos, pupunta lahat yan sa mga komunidad at magbabaha talaga na matindi.
So, kung ordinaryong mamamayan lang, Sec Butch, ordinaryong Pilipino, titingnan tong 7.2 trillion budget na ito, anong tingin mo dapat nilang i-focus on?
Ano yung babantayan nila?
Ano yung babantayan? Kasi obviously, ang malaking concern, corruption. Pero bukod doon, siyempre, isang concern dyan, mapupondohan ba yung mga kailangan natin, di ba, going into the last 2 years? So, ano yung tingin yung dapat?
Sorry, into that point, I just want to add, sir, before you answer, di ba kasi during your time, ginawa niyong very transparent yung budget.
Yes.
In fact, pwedeng makita ng mga tao talaga yun, di ba? Yung budget natin. Did they continue doing that now?
Well, they say that one of the reforms is really for people to be able to track the budget from the time it is introduced in the NEP to the time that it's implemented. Meron silang software daw nun eh.
Okay.
Kung yun ay totoo, yan ang isang magandang pwedeng malaman ng mga tao. Para kunyari, barangay captain ka. Meron kang barangay road dyan sa NEP. Gusto mo malaman at any point in time kung nasaan na yon, pwede mo malaman.
So, masusundan mo?
Kung kunyari, binura, malalaman mo kung nabura.
Okay.
Yan ang gusto naming ipasok. No? Napasok namin, kaya lang ang hirap sa Congress eh. Ayun. Kasi pwede nilang i-disregard eh. Pero yan ang isa. Kasi
Para mabantayan nila di ba?
ang pinakamalaking issue sa budget ngayon, Barry, Relly, is confidence or trust.
Yeah, tama.
Because of what happened the past 3 years. So you have to be able to tell people na ito talaga, kung gusto niyo malaman kung ano nangyari sa pera. Lalong-lalo na dun sa discretionary portion. Kasi maliit na lang yun eh. Maliit na lang yun eh. At dun mo malalaman talaga kung ano ang prioridad ng Pangulo o ng administrasyon. Kasi yung mga iba, no choice na sila dun eh. Talagang kailangan pagkagastusan yung utang.
Obligasyon yun.
Yung mga
IRA, ibigay mo sa LGU talaga yan.
Yung sa BARM, 90 billion yun. Tapos yung sweldo. Tsaka yung may mga projects na you have to continue. Na umpisa, lalo na yung mga multi-year obligations. You know? Tapos yung overhead ng gobyerno. So, ang tingnan nyo, yung discretionary portion. Kasi yan ang pwede pang magalaw.
So yun ang dapat binabantayan ng ordinaryong Pilipino. And makikita nila dapat yon dun sa sinasabi ninyong tracker.
Oo.
Diba? Kasi di ba dati, sir, may bantay kita eh. Diba?
Right.
Oo. So dapat yun ituloy sana ngayon. Ano?
Dapat sa website makikita
Punta na nila yan. Oo.
kung i-access nila, lalabas doon.
Kasi katulad niyan, yung budget ng UP, it has been cut from 29.47 billion this year to 26.53 billion next year. This is almost like 3 billion.
It's 2.95.
Oo, so imagine mo yung magsasacrifice nito, yung mga scholar ng bayan, di ba?
Sa totoo lang, I think the DBM cut 5% of all social
SUCs.
services.
Social services in general.
Oo, in general. Kasi ang sabi nila, marami pang pera na galing dun sa last year. Kasi last year, and the previous years, because of the anomalies, bumagal ang releases.
Okay.
So maraming carry-over appropriations. So ang kailangan pang sabihin din sa atin ng DBM, ano yung carry-over appropriations? Na kaya nyo binawasan ng 5% yung social services program.
Diyan din
So
po
what are those
naganda.
items? How much are those?
Okay.
Kasi alimbawa, noong 2025, siguro mga 495 ang tinanggal sa BICAM eh. Dinivert. Hindi natin alam kung saan lahat napunta. But I saw that there were 1 billion peso allocations given to practically all SUCs. Ngayon ba nakuha ba ng UP yon? O yung 300 million na inaangal ng PUP na tinanggal sa kanila, pwedeng kunin yun doon. So they have to check with DBM, ano na nangyari doon sa 1 billion allocations nung nakaraan, were they carried over or were they used somewhere else? Kasi nasa budget eh.
So, sabi ni Sec Butch, basically, yung cut na ito, medyo mamimitigate by the fact na meron pang mga naiwan na pera from
Meron
previous
pa.
years.
Pwedeng dun kunin.
What we need to know is how much is that, where is that, in what particular PAPs were those reallocated.
Kasi ikaw, anong naging reaction mo? Tiga UP ka, diba?
Siyempre, natuturo pa ako ngayon.
Okay nga, di ba?
Tsaka yung mga
Pero
kinuha
hindi
sa...
3 billion naman yung sweldo ko. So.
Yung kinuha sa UP, tsaka sa PUP, capital outlay funds. Yung panggawa ng classrooms at laboratory. Sa UP siguro, pwedeng natanggalan din ng PGH.
Oo, tama.
Pwede.
Pagka sa social funds. So, natanggalan din po yung PGH, you're saying, sir?
Well, pwede kasi
Possible,
UP PGH yun. Isa lang ang
Yeah.
budget na.
Kasama sa budget
Yeah.
ng UP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oo. Hindi natin alam. Eh.
Dito sa social fund, dito na ba rin nanggagaling yung ayuda?
Meron ding, na kailangan natin tignan yung detalye. Kasi, ang presentation ng budget by sectoral eh. Di ba? Education, public works, health. Wala yung detalye per program or per department or agency. Pero ang alam ko, merong ayuda. Merong ayuda.
Kasi if we talk about cutting the budget of UP, for example, diba, isn't this counter-intuitive to claims that government is prioritizing public higher education? Diba? As you said, diba, yung message, yung narrative ng mga priorities ni Presidente,
During the SONA,
SONA,
yan yung kanyang isang in-emphasize.
dapat nakikita yun dun sa, sa budget niya. And yet, kinat pa rin.
Well, yun na nga yung, kulang talaga ang pera eh. Kulang talaga ang pera eh. And we have to borrow a big portion of the budget to be able to finance the deficit. So, ang tanong, ano ang priorities ng administrasyon kung saan nilagay yung kakaunting discretionary portion of the budget na yun.
Ito yung sinasabi ni Sec Butch na identify nila na ito hindi nyo pwedeng galawin.
Oo,
Ito
yan.
talaga yung priority.
Oo, ganun. At kukunti na lang yung pwedeng galawin eh. So, kung nandun na yung priority ng administrasyon, kailangan talaga sabihin na ito talagang, pag binabayaan mo kasi yung secretary, hindi ko naman sinasabing walang poder ng secretary. Iba yung pag nagsalita yung Pangulo eh.
Siyempre.
Kasi-
May authority yun. Eh.
Oo, kasi he's the political leader of the country. He sets the development directions. At siya rin ang titular head ng coalition ng both houses.
Sir, can you say more or less, ilang percentage yun yung may flexibility pa, yung pwede pang galawin na sinasabi niyo?
Usually that's somewhere between, kasi I haven't seen the details, no? But that's somewhere between 30 to 35% of the budget.
Wow.
The entire budget, no? 30
So yung
to 35%.
almost two-thirds, set in
Allocated
stone,
na.
basically.
Kasi yung sweldo pa lang, 30% na yun eh. Yung overhead mo pa. Tapos yung bayad sa interest payments, umaabot na yan ng 19% eh. So, ang laki ng hindi mo na magagalaw eh.
Okay, so sa lahat ng mga nakalagay sa 2027 National Expenditure Budget, what bothers you the most as a former budget secretary? But before you answer this question, the spokes will return after the short break.
The spokes is back. Still with us is former Secretary Butch Abad. Before we go to our hanging questions, sir, would like to acknowledge first yung mga comments and questions
Okay.
ng ating mga viewers. Yan. So, comment from Jage Estipon na garbage problem is a people problem. People must learn na ang basurang tinapon mo babalik rin sa'yo.
Ito, comment from Pabibo Kaboy. Fiestang nakawan na naman ang mga Crocs sa GAA 2027.
Ito naman, from Rolando Rito. Para lang confidential pa ito ng mga Migi Mango. Walang fiscal responsibility ang gobyerno sa mga gastusin.
Ito, question from Rose-Colored Glasses. 7 trillion? Ilan ang mapupunta sa mga tao at sa bulsa ng politiko? Mukhang rhetorical yung question na yan.
Sek, anong comment nyo doon? Sige, before we proceed with the other comments from our viewers. I mean, ito yung sinasabi ninyo kanina, di ba? Ang pinaka-problema dito, Attorney Barry, as you said, yung trust and confidence.
Yes.
Kasi nasa krisis tayo ngayon eh. Pag krisis, siyempre hihingin mo yung mga tao na magsakripisyo ng kaunti para namang medyo makaahon tayo dito.
Tama.
Pero magsasakripisyo lamang yung tao kung naniniwala sila na yung perang nilalagay nila sa
Pupunta sa maayos.
gobyerno, pupunta sa maayos. Kung wala pa tayong balita kung ano nangyari doon sa nakaraan, parang maiiwan lang na naghihintay eh. Naghihintay kung anong mangyari. Kami nga noon yun ang unang-unang hinarap natin na problema eh. Kung walang tiwala, dalawang tiwala yan, tiwala ng taong bayan, tiwala ng investing public.
Tama.
Kung walang mag-i-invest, problema rin ng malaki. Kaya yung mga tanong na ganyan, meron talagang ibig sabihin yan at dapat seryosohin ng gobyerno.
Tsaka lalo na kung patuloy silang binabaha. Tapos, ganyan ang nakikita nilang basura. Di ba?
Katulad, alimbawa, yung 60 billion na PhilHealth tsaka itong 107.1 billion sa PDIC. Yung 60 billion na PhilHealth, nawala na yun eh. Hindi na natin alam kung saan napunta, di ba?
Nagkakalimutan.
Pero nung babayaran na para maibalik sa PhilHealth, kinuha sa GAA. Kinuha na naman sa atin yun.
Oo nga.
So, ibig sabihin, double whammy.
Oo.
Ganyan, meron tayong unprogrammed appropriations na naman at meron na namang portion of the funds, 54 billion yata, for PDIC. Kukunin na naman sa GAA. Ang tanong, bakit kukunin ulit sa atin? Nawalan na nga tayo dun sa kinuha nila. Di ba? Dapat, hindi po pwedeng kunin yun dun sa for later released projects na hinold nyo dahil hindi kayo sigurado kung totoong mga projects yan. So, kung yun, hindi nyo na itutuloy at babalik sa Treasury, doon nyo kunin yung mga 60 billion. Doon nyo kunin yung ibabayad sa PDIC. Huwag nyo ulit kaming kuhanan kasi doble na yung tama sa amin noon eh. Yun ang mga hindi natin nadidinig na nasa isip ng mga tao.
Kung yan dapat pag-usapan natin ulit yun, that's very interesting. At yun nga, nakakalimutan kasi natatabunan na naman ng ibang issues.
Tsaka dito sa flood control, edi dapat habulin yung mga tao na
Pabalik yung pera.
Nasangkot. Diba?
Kasi trillion yung nawala, pero ang binabalik pa lang, ilang hundreds of
Babarya.
million pa lang.
Hindi, isipin mo, isang USEC pwede magsoli ng 1 billion. So,
Magkano yung iba?
Oo,
paano
nasan
yung
yun,
mga...
diba?
USEC pa lang yan. Paano yung mga...
Higher ups.
Yung talaga nagdi-decision dyan?
Yes, oo. May isang comment pa po dito, sir. What's up, Rene? Ayos ah. If PBBM was serious with the fight against corruption, he should have done a sweeping lifestyle check of government people.
Ayan.
Ay, Irene pala yun. Kailangan na mag-EO. Ay, sorry.
Can you disagree with that?
Oo, exactly. Oo.
Di ba?
Tingin ko, yun ang hinihintay ng madaming tao.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's one of the ways, di ba?
So,
One of the
punta
ways
tayo
na
sa
pwede.
ating hanging question. What bothers you most as a former budget secretary sa 2027 proposed National Expenditure Program?
Just 2 days ago, si Secretary Shell Habito, naglabas siya ng assessment ng economy. Sabi niya, what is most alarming, what is most concerning, is that negative growth of total fixed investments, o yung sinasabi nila mga ekonomista na gross fixed capital formation. Last year, bumaba siya ng negative 13.7.
Anong ibig sabihin ng Sec Butch? Ano yung translation? No?
Alam mo, sa industry, yung mga processing plants,
Okay. So,
Construct-
pabrika.
construction, sa agriculture, irrigation,
Okay.
sa transport, yung airport, bus terminals. Ito yung mga...
Infra.
So,
ito
core infra, kumbaga.
Hindi, tsaka, these are the projects that will allow you to improve production in the coming years. If
Tama.
negative yung growth the past 3 years, ibig sabihin, maski ano mangyari, in the coming years, growth will continue to be weak. Eh, pag hindi lumago yung ekonomiya, saan kukunin yung buwis? Saan kukunin yung trabaho? Saan kukunin yung
Pambayad
araw-araw na
sa
kita?
utang.
Oo. So, ito yung mga kailangan tignan dyan sa budget na hindi natin nadidinig eh. Ang agriculture, nandun siya sa number 7 yata ng total budget. Agriculture, environment, higher education, tapos judiciary. So, ito yung mga bagay-bagay na kailangan pansinin ng gobyerno. Para sa ganun, kung ano man na mangyari, makakabalik tayo sa muling paglago ng ating ekonomiya.
Kasi nga, kung may crisis, meron tayong crisis sa ekonomiya natin, then dapat yun ang unang-unang i-address natin, di ba? Oo. So, ano po, as a follow-up question, what could actually qualify as a red flag in budgeting? Ano mo yung mga tinitingnan nating red flags, sir? Anong magka-qualify doon? Mga dapat kasama sa dapat bantayan.
In aid of re-election. Kasi malapit
Ayuda.
na.
Ayuda, di ba? It can be.
Kasi kung may ayuda ka, bakit hindi sa 4Ps? Bakit hindi sa PhilHealth? Kasi
Bakit dadaan sa politiko?
Yes, walang discretion dapat.
hindi, tsaka ito,
diba?
mga ito,
Human
rules-based.
intervention.
Rules-based. Halimbawa, sa 4Ps, kailangan 85% of the time, nasa eskwelahan yung anak mo. Kailangan pumupunta sa...
May condition.
May condition. O kaya, yung magulang, may monthly family council meeting para matuto ng financial literacy. Ito yung mga condition para makakuha ka. Hindi yung pinamimigay pag nagpapasyal yung mga tao. Huwag ganun kasi ano lang yun eh, lalo lang aasa yung mga tao eh. Hindi sila on their own makakatayo sa sarili nilang mga paa.
Ito, Sec Butch.
Yung mga unprogrammed funds.
Ito, Sec Butch. Bakit mahalagang paghiwalayin yung pagkakaiba between red flag on the one hand and then yung actual proof ng corruption? Kasi medyo magkaiba yun eh.
Hindi, yung red flag, pwede mo pang itigil eh. Pag nakita mo pa lang sa NEP o kaya sa GAA, bago budget execution, pwede mo pang sabihin na,
Teka,
I-hold nyo yan, i-hold nyo.
kasi baka mapunta sa mali yan.
Kaya ang policy ng DBM, pag yung wala sa NEP yung mga nasa GAA for later release, kasi kailangan mo alamin, tanungin yung ahensya, sigurado ka bang galing sa inyo ito, binago nyo ito? Bakit nyo binago? Para saan? Nasaan yung program of work? Parang ganon. So, mauusisa mo kasi pag may biglang bago sa budget, isipin mo, Relia, 8 months na inusisa yung budget.
Yeah, tama.
4 na buwan,
Sa
pinagtalunan sa Kongreso. Pagdating sa BICAM,
Baliwala 8 months na diskusyon.
tangay lahat, no? So, yun na yung maliwanag na sinyales na may problema tayo dito. At nangyari ng 3 taon yon.
Oo nga.
Yeah.
Yung hindi pa nga ba kami sa small committee pa.
Inalis na nila last year, no?
Kaya-
Dapat hindi mabalik.
Kaya, binabalik-balikan naman ng present DBM secretary lahat siya na, halimbawa, yung isa sa sinabi niya ng kondisyon ng unprogram, kasi yung unprogram appropriation, sabi niya, the smallest, 111 billion. To his credit, tama naman, the smallest. Ang isa pang ginawa niya, kasi ang expected revenue collection is 5.21 trillion eh. Sabi niya, kailangan lumampas sa 5.21 trillion ang tax collection, ang excess collection. And not only lumampas, hindi lang projection, actual cash,
Nakapag-collecta talaga.
actual cash in the Treasury as certified by the Bureau of Customs, Bureau of Internal Revenue, and Bureau of Treasury. So mahigpit talaga yung fiscal triggers that will activate
Yung
the
unprogram.
unprogram appropriation. Kaya kung susundan yun, mahihirapan talagang mapondohan yung ang program appropriation.
Sir, meron ding di ba? May 13 billion din na
Contingent.
contingent fund eh. So, do you think, why does government need this kind of fund? Ang laki rin nun.
Yan ang
Iba pa yung
pinagdidibatihan
unprogram.
sa Supreme Court nga ngayon. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang unprogram fund is an administrative mechanism for flexibility. Pero wala yan sa saligang batas. It was never in the conception of our framers of the Constitution. Ang meron sa saligang batas, yung supplemental appropriation. Na kung sakasakali meron, pero I doubt magkakaroon ng extra collection sa revenues, kailangan idaan ulit sa Kongreso para pagpasyahan.
So, supplemental budget talaga.
Supplemental budget kasi doon, makikita ng mga tao, pagbobotohan sa publiko, nakalista kung sino yung proponent, sino yung bumoto for or against. So merong documentation, malalaman mo talaga kung ano nangyari.
In other words, scrutinize natin, di ba?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Kaya palagay ko the only way that the unprogrammed appropriations can be justified constitutionally or legally is its use in activating foreign assisted projects when the loan proceeds are signed into contract
okay.
and they're due. Pero sa akin pa rin, let's still follow the Constitution kung hanggat maaari. Kasi yun ang saligang batas eh.
Pero itong contingent funds, Sec Butch, kasi,
Nasa ano yan? Nasa NEP yan.
oo nga,
Ngayon, ang release niyan, kailangan niya ng SARO, kasi ano yan lump sum, at kailangan ng approval ng presidente. Hindi pwedeng yung contingent fund pupunta sa confidential at intelligence fund.
tama.
And
Yun nga, yun.
and this is usually used for emergency
Yeah.
purposes
Yeah, for
or
things that-
disaster.
For
Kaya
things
mga
that you
disaster
cannot
relief.
foresee. Halimbawa, nagkagyera sa Middle East, kailangan natin i-repatriate yung mga...
Yeah, tama.
O yung Fukushima, biglang sumabog yung nuclear facility doon, kailangan iuwi. Or, meron tayong bisitang mataas na pinuno ng bansa. Wala sa plano. Saan mo kukunin yung pera? Contingency fund. That's the flexibility that's available there.
Ito, Sec Butch, how important is it? Ano yung value para sa mga tao to compare yung NEP, yung House version, yung Senate version, yung BICAM version, and then yung final GAA na ipapasa ng House?
Well, meron kasing dalawang importanteng dapat natin tingnan. yung sinasabi nilang budget of expenditures and sources of funds. At yung isa naman, National Expenditure Program. Yung BESF, sumasagot yan dun sa tanong,
Sa manggagaling ang...
magkano ba ang kaya nating gastusin sa susunod na taon?
Tama.
Yan ang ceiling mo.
Tama.
Yung NEP, sumasagot yan dun sa tanong na, dun sa kaya nating magastos sa susunod na taon, ano ang kailangan nating paggastusan ng mga perang yon? So ito, pinag-aralan to ng DBCC, yung ating Development Budget Coordinating Committee. Alam nila yung macroeconomic context. Alam din nila yung Philippine Development Plan. Alam din nila yung medium-term fiscal expenditure plan. So,
Yung interagency yan, sir, no? DBM, DOF, NEDA,
So, 8 buwan yan, binubuno ng... Pag natutulog yung mga taga-DBM, panaginip nila yun eh. Pagising sila, kinakain nila yung budget eh. Kaya 8 buwan yan na pinag-aaralan. Tapos, dadaan pa ng 4 na buwan
Sa
na
Congress.
debate
Sa Congress,
at usapin sa Kongreso.
bago sa Senate. Okay.
Kaya, pagdadating sa BICAM, tapos biglang mababago halos lahat. Para magtataka ka, ano naman ang nangyari doon sa 8 buwan at 4 na buwan na kailangan pa ganun kalaking pagbabago sa budget. Kaya, konting pagkilala naman at respeto sa executive department dahil sa ating salig ng batas, sila yung natukoy na
Sila nakakaalam kung ano talaga yung
maghahanda
kailangan.
ng budget.
So, sir, dito na tayo sa tough question, Butch. Yan, if you were DBM Secretary today, would you recommend approving the 7.2 trillion budget proposal as it is?
Well, I haven't seen the details, pero mukhang mukhang talagang nagkaroon ng tightening of the budget. No, hindi na yung, halimbawa, the past 3 years, more than 1 trillion ang budget ng DPWH eh. Ngayon, nasa 640.
Laki ng binaba.
Malaking binaba eh. So, nakita nila yung naging problema, so they made adjustments in the
At least
in the
naging
budget.
sensitive naman sila.
Yeah, may natutunan naman na leksyon. Yung iba talaga, wala silang magagawa eh. Halimbawa, yung 768.7 billion debt service. Imagine
Nasa
yan
batas,
eh. Oo. Ang kailangan lang, meron kaming sinusunod na 3 mandato sa sa DBM eh. Spend within your means, invest in the right priorities, deliver measurable results. Kasi ito yung kailangan natin sundin sa ngayon eh. Dahil talagang kakaunti lang ang discretionary or ang leeway ng gobyerno para gastusan yung pangangailangan ng taong bayan. Eh. Ngayon, kung gusto ng gobyerno na makisama yung taong bayan para sama-sama tayo magsakripisyo, kailangan lahat nila, katulad ng minumungkahi mo, Relly, at every opportunity, they should be open and subject to public accountability every time.
Thank you, Sec Butch.
Bitin.
Oo nga daw, tapos mahaba pang usapan ito eh. Okay, a bigger budget means a bigger responsibility to show where every peso goes.
Accountability begins where discretion ends and transparency takes over. I'm former Secretary Relly Fajardo.
And I'm former VP spokesperson, Attorney Gutierrez.
And we are the Spokes.